there's a level of mental and physical strength that makes you seem invincible. And today you'll discover how one man achieved it 400 years ago and how you can do the same. Have you ever met someone who doesn't break, who faces any situation without hesitation, without backing down, without bargaining with themselves? While everyone else is making excuses to explain their own failures, while everyone else gives up at the first hurdle, she persists. And you know what people say? This guy is lucky. This woman is only like this because of her genetics. This guy only got there because he's friends with the boss. But what many people don't accept is that there's a very high price to pay. Many don't want to pay that price, and they still want to condemn those on the battlefield. However, there was a man in Japan who lived during the Tokugawa era. This man won over 60 duels. He started at age 13 and never lost. If you follow this channel, you know who I'm talking about. Maybe his name is in the title of the video, so it's no secret to anyone else. His name was Miyamoto Musashi, and he wasn't the strongest physically nor the fastest, but he developed something no one could break. A mind that knew no hesitation, and a body that knew no limits before he died. He wrote it all down in his book Gorin no Sho, the Book of 5 Rings. And within those pages lies the exact map for how to transform your mind and body into something that people will look at and think, how is that possible? But there's a catch. Musashi's method isn't about motivation, it's about elimination. He didn't build strength by adding things. He built it by removing everything that was getting in the way, removing weakness, removing hesitation, removing dependence. Before I show you exactly how this system works, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment. What's your biggest mental or physical weakness that you want to eliminate? This really helps the channel reach more people. Plus, I enjoy reading all the comments and interacting with you. Thank you very much for your attention. Back to the video. The story I'm going to tell you today begins with a guy named Lucas, an engineer, 32 years old, married with 2 kids. A normal guy, a normal life, normal problems. But Lucas had a specific problem. He was weak, not just physically, mentally too. He woke up every day promising to work out. He bought a gym membership 3 times and cancelled all 3. He started a diet on Monday and broke it on Wednesday. He promised to wake up early but hit the snooze button 7 times. The pattern was always the same. Strong intention, weak execution, and that wasn't the worst part. When things got tough at work, he'd freeze up. When he needed to have a difficult conversation with his wife, he'd put it off. When his children needed correction and discipline, he left it to her. Lucas was living on autopilot, reacting to life instead of acting. Until the day he had a panic attack in front of his boss, in the middle of an important meeting. His heart raced, his hands sweated, and the room began to spin. He had to leave. He went to the doctor. Tests were normal. The diagnosis: stress, anxiety, and lack of mental fitness. The doctor said something that changed everything. Your body is responding to threats that don't exist because your mind isn't trained to distinguish real danger from discomfort. You need to train your nervous system. Lucas returned home and began researching how to train the mind, how to build real mental strength. That's when he discovered Miyamoto Musashi, and more specifically, he discovered that Musashi didn't write a philosophy book. He wrote a manual of warfare applied to life. The first thing Lucas read in the Book of 5 Rings was something that seemed contradictory. Have no preferences. Do not depend on any particular weapon. He didn't understand at first. How do you become strong without having a preference? How do you master something without depending on it? Then came Musashi's explanation. Your strength cannot depend on perfect conditions. If you can only train when you have equipment, you are weak. If you can only meditate when it is silent, you are weak. If you can only focus when you are rested, you are weak. True strength is the ability to perform in any condition. Musashi practiced with wooden swords, metal swords, 2 swords, 1 sword, and no sword at all. He fought day and night, in the sun, in the rain, in the cold, in the heat. Why? Because the enemy doesn't wait for you to be ready. Lucas realized he was the opposite. He could only be productive at the office. He could only work out if he'd slept well. He could only eat healthy if his wife prepared the meals. His discipline depended on external factors, so he eliminated dependencies. It started small push-ups, no gym, no schedule, no equipment, with just body and floor. He chose 20 push-ups every day, anytime, any place, any condition. The first week was easy. The second week, his body ached. The third week, he traveled. The fourth week, he got the flu. This is where he always quit before, but this time he remembered Musashi's principle. Practice must continue regardless of circumstances. Hotel room push-ups, got a cold. 10 instead of 20. No energy. 5, but never 0. Never 0. By day 40, Lucas was stronger physically, but his mind was still chaotic. Anxiety about work, worry about money, fear of disappointing his family. Then he encountered what Musashi considered more important than any technique: Heijoshin, the everyday mind. At the moment of battle, your mind should be the same as when you are drinking tea. No excitement, no fear, just presence. Musashi's answer was brutal. You don't suppress fear, you stop reacting to it. Lucas practiced this. Traffic, meetings, arguments. Observe the sensation. No reaction, just awareness. It was torture at first, but it worked. When his boss yelled at him publicly, Lucas didn't freeze. He felt fear, recognized it, and spoke clearly. That was Heijoshin. A Stanford neuroscientist explains that non-reactive observation literally rewires the amygdala. Panic becomes recognition. A calm mind without a capable body is an illusion. Musashi wrote that when the body is weak, the mind wavers. Lucas tested this. 100 push-ups a day for 30 days. Day 1 took 45 minutes. Day 5, agony. Day 15, progress. Day 30, 12 minutes non-stop. The change wasn't just physical. The impossible became normal. This is the way of the warrior. Zanshin is awareness after action. Lucas stopped collapsing mentally after effort. He stayed present. He integrated lessons. Within 90 days, people noticed. His wife noticed. He had changed. Day 105, he was laid off. Old Lucas would panic. This Lucas didn't. He acknowledged reality and acted. 3 offers. Beifindes Sisha raise Heijoshin. Deep roots don't fight to win. Fight not to lose. No openings. No weaknesses. Reliability over brilliance. Promotion followed. No streaks. No validation. No ego. Strength became identity. People grew uncomfortable. Truth often is. Lucas wasn't disciplined. He was disciplined. Musashi called it Kenzanichi, practice and self become one. Musashi died with nothing but mastery over himself. I regret nothing. The question isn't how he did it. The question is, why aren't you? Most choose comfort over capability. But if you're still here, maybe you won't. Remember, strength that scares others is the only strength worth having with time. Lucas began to notice something strange. The more disciplined he became, the quieter his life got. Not peaceful quiet, a different kind of silence. The noise of excuses disappeared. The background chatter of self-doubt faded, but so did certain people. Conversations that once filled hours now ended in minutes. Complaints sounded hollow. Drama felt unnecessary. Musashi warned about this stage. When you sharpen yourself, dull things fall away. Not out of cruelty, but incompatibility. Lucas wasn't superior. He was simply no longer available for weakness disguised as humor. When co-workers complained about long hours, Lucas worked. When friends mocked discipline, Lucas trained. When others escaped discomfort, Lucas stayed. And that made him lonely. Not emotionally empty, but isolated. Strength has gravity. It pulls some closer and pushes many away. Musashi lived this. He walked alone not because he hated people, but because mastery requires silence. Lucas finally understood that growth isn't just adding strength, it's subtracting noise. 6 months later, something even more difficult happened. Lucas failed. Not dramatically, quietly. He skipped training one morning, then another. His body was tired. His mind whispered, "You've earned rest." That whisper used to control him, but now he recognized it. Musashi wrote that the most dangerous enemy is the one that speaks in your own voice. Lucas didn't panic. He didn't spiral. He didn't label himself weak. He simply returned. That was the lesson. The old Lucas would have quit entirely after breaking a rule. The new Lucas didn't identify with the break. He identified with the return. This is the second death, the death of perfection. When you no longer need to be flawless to continue, nothing can stop you. Musashi never claimed perfection. He claimed persistence, endless correction, endless return to form. That's why he never lost. Lucas expanded his training, not for aesthetics, for capability. Cold showers, long walks without music, training while tired, training while bored, training while unmotivated. Musashi believed boredom was the final test. Anyone can train when inspired. Only warriors train when nothing inside them wants to move. Lucas learned to use his body as a tool to train his mind. Every rep reinforced a single truth. Discomfort does not equal danger. The nervous system adapted. What once felt unbearable became neutral. What once caused resistance became routine. This wasn't toughness, if it's clarity. One morning, Lucas realized something shocking. He didn't feel motivated, and he didn't care. Motivation had become irrelevant. Musashi never spoke of motivation. He spoke of form, of rhythm, of repetition. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Identity is permanent. Lucas trained the same way he brushed his teeth. No emotion, no debate, no drama. This is when effort disappears. When action no longer requires permission from feelings. Most people wait to feel ready. Warriors move first and let feelings catch up. Pressure stopped. Feeling like pressure, deadlines, conflict, responsibility. Lucas didn't seek them, but he didn't avoid them either. He noticed something others didn't. Pressure reveals structure. Weak systems collapse. Strong systems clarify. Musashi said the battlefield shows you who you already are. Lucas no longer feared exposure. He welcomed it. Because exposure no longer threatened his identity. He wasn't trying to protect an image. He was protecting a practice. The last change was subtle, almost invisible. Lucas stopped thinking about himself. His training wasn't self-improvement anymore. It was maintenance, like sharpening a blade, not to show it, but to keep it ready. Ego dissolved. Comparison vanished. Even ambition softened. What remained was alignment, action without friction, presence without effort. This is where Musashi lived. Beyond fear, beyond pride, beyond hesitation, Musashi asked one final question through his life, not his words. If nothing external changes, will you still remain strong? Lucas had his answer. Yes, because strength was no longer something he did. It was something he refused to abandon. And now the question passes to you. Not are you capable, but what are you still holding on to that keeps you weak? Because strength begins the moment you decide to let go. Time passed. Weeks turned into months. And something unexpected happened. Nothing felt exciting anymore. No adrenaline, no hype, no rush. Training felt flat. Work felt repetitive. Even progress felt invisible. This is where most people quit, not because it's hard, but because it's boring. Musashi warned about this stage. He said boredom is the final camouflage of weakness. When nothing feels rewarding, when effort brings no emotional payoff, that's when discipline is truly tested. Lucas understood this was not a problem. It was proof. Proof that he was no longer driven by emotion. He trained anyway, not because it felt good, not because it felt meaningful, but because it was correct. This is where strength stops being emotional and becomes mechanical, like gravity, always present, always working. One day Lucas realized something unsettling. Nothing was going wrong. No crisis, no breakdown, no dramatic obstacle, just normal days, normal stress, normal responsibility. The old Lucas would have needed chaos to feel alive. The new Lucas didn't. He had become stable, predictable, reliable, and that scared him. Musashi wrote that stability is mistaken for stagnation by the untrained mind. But stability is power. A warrior who does not fluctuate cannot be manipulated. Lucas stopped chasing intensity. He chose consistency, and consistency quietly multiplied everything. As Lucas grew calmer, others began testing him. Subtle insults, passive-aggressive comments, invitations to break routine. Just one day won't matter. Musashi expected this. He said when your center is strong, others unconsciously try to pull you off it. Not out of malice, but insecurity. Lucas didn't argue, didn't explain, didn't defend. He simply didn't move. And eventually the test stopped, because people stopped pushing what doesn't wobble. The excuses didn't disappear dramatically. They faded, slowly, one by one. I'm tired. I don't feel like it. I'll start tomorrow. These thoughts still appeared, but they no longer had authority. Musashi never claimed the mind becomes silent. He claimed it becomes irrelevant. Lucas learned this. Discipline is not the absence of excuses. It's the refusal to negotiate with them. At some point, Lucas stopped thinking of himself as strong. Strength became background noise. This is critical. The moment strength becomes your identity, it becomes fragile. Musashi never called himself great. He simply practiced. Lucas no longer needed to prove anything. No before and after photos. No validation. No story. Power that announces itself is weak. Real power is quiet. Fear didn't disappear forever. It returned, subtly. Not panic, not anxiety, doubt. What if this ends? What if you lose discipline? What if you become weak again? Musashi called this the final illusion, the fear of regression. Lucas didn't fight it. He didn't reassure himself. He didn't analyze it. He trained. Fear starves when ignored. Lucas stopped planning escape routes. No plan B mentality. Not recklessly, but internally. Musashi believed that hesitation comes from imagined alternatives. When you commit fully, the mind aligns. Lucas worked, trained, spoke, acted without mental retreat, and something strange happened. Life met him halfway. Opportunities appeared. Respect followed, not because he chased it, but because certainty attracts order. One day Lucas realized he wasn't learning anymore. He was remembering. The body knew what to do. The mind stayed quiet. Decisions were instant. Musashi called this mastery, not knowing more, but needing less thought. This is when effort disappears completely. Lucas didn't become extreme. He became precise. He slept on time. He ate simply. He trained consistently. He spoke directly. He reacted slowly. Nothing dramatic. Nothing impressive. Nothing flashy. And that's what made him dangerous. Not because they can't, because they won't tolerate the silence. No applause. No excitement. No shortcuts. Just repetition. Just presence. Just removal. Musashi said the path is open to all, but walked by few because it demands the death of comfort. Lucas didn't reach a finish line. There was no final victory. No celebration. He simply continued. That's the truth most people hate. There is no end state, only alignment, only maintenance, only practice. And once you reach that point, weakness no longer feels tempting. It feels foreign. Final thought. Minor thought may sage you to become extraordinary. He asked you to stop being unnecessary. Remove hesitation. Remove dependency. Remove ego. Remove excuses. What remains is strength. Not loud. Not dramatic. Not motivational. Just inevitable. There comes a point where strength itself becomes heavy, not because it is difficult, but because it is constant. Lucas noticed that he could no longer hide behind confusion or chaos. Every decision was clear, every action obvious, and clarity is dangerous. Because once you see clearly, you lose the excuse of ignorance. You know when you are lying to yourself. You know when you are choosing comfort. You know when you are wasting time. Musashi believed this was the true burden of mastery, not effort, responsibility. When you are strong, you are accountable for every choice. There is no one to blame. Lucas accepted this weight. He stopped asking why me, and started asking what now. Self-pity didn't vanish overnight. It tried to survive in small forms. I've done enough, others have it easier. I deserve a break. But these thoughts felt childish, now a week out of place. Musashi wrote that warriors do not waste energy on emotions that do not move them forward. Not because emotions are bad, but because time is limited. Lucas stopped indulging in internal drama. He felt pain. He felt fatigue. He felt disappointment. But he did not sit in it. He passed through it. No one noticed how disciplined Lucas had become. And that was the point. There were no speeches, no visible rituals, no extreme routines. Discipline had gone underground. Silent. Automatic. Woke up when it was time. He worked until the task was finished. He trained without announcing it. He rested without guilt. Musashi believed that the highest form of discipline leaves no trace. Like a blade that cuts without sound, temptation still appeared. Comfort, distraction, shortcuts. But they no longer felt rewarding. They felt empty, flat. Lucas noticed something disturbing. The things that once controlled him now felt boring. Scrolling, junk food, complaining, procrastination. Musashi wrote that when the mind is aligned, desire collapses on its own. You don't fight temptation, you outgrow it. People began saying Lucas was hard to read. He didn't overshare, he didn't react quickly, he didn't explain himself. This wasn't strategy, it was natural. When there is no internal noise, there is nothing to leak. Musashi was feared not because he was aggressive, but because his intentions were invisible. Predictability is comfort, unreadability is power. Success came again and again, projects, respect, stability. But Lucas noticed something strange. Victory felt quiet. There was no rush, no hype, no need to celebrate. Musashi warned that celebration is where warriors die. The moment you relax mentally, decay begins. Lucas acknowledged success and returned to practice. No attachment, no inflation, no pause. Power did not make Lucas harsh. It made him precise. He spoke less, but clearer. He corrected without anger. He said no without guilt. Musashi believed cruelty comes from insecurity. True strength has no need to dominate. Lucas no longer needed to prove superiority. His presence alone set boundaries. One illusion remained: control. The belief that if you do everything right, nothing will go wrong. Musashi rejected this completely. He prepared not to control life, but to remain stable within it. Lucas stopped expecting fairness. He stopped demanding outcomes. He focused only on response. And paradoxically, life became easier. There was no separation anymore. Work was practice, rest was practice, conversation was practice, silence was practice. Musashi called this living strategy, not planning life, becoming ready for it. Lucas no longer asked, "What should I do?" He asked, "What is correct right now?" One night, Lucas realized something irreversible had happened. Even if he tried to go back, he couldn't. Weakness no longer felt safe. Excuses no longer felt convincing. Chaos no longer felt familiar. This is the point Musashi described without naming. The moment when discipline becomes irreversible. Not because you are forcing it, but because you are no longer compatible with the old self. People didn't say it out loud, but Lucas could feel it. His calm unsettled them. His consistency exposed them. The lack of excuses embarrassed them. Because he judged them, but because he didn't join them. Musashi said this is the cost of walking alone. Not isolation, but separation. Lucas needed less and less. Less reassurance, less approval. Less comfort, less stimulation. Strength stripped him down. Musashi believed the warrior who needs nothing cannot be controlled. No leverage, no pressure points. Finally, effort disappeared completely. Not because life was easy, but because resistance was gone. Lucas didn't push himself anymore. He moved. This is the state Musashi lived in. Not intensity, not force. Alignment. There was no applause for this version of Lucas. No soundtrack, no recognition. Just a man who could be trusted by himself. And that is the rarest form of strength in the modern world.